Okay. So your graph have to be at least half a page. No tiny little graph, right? Ms. Hallebeck, remember we very careful with this. Is we
Yes.
want you guys to use up the graphing paper. Ms. Hallebeck, is that
Yes.
true?
Say it. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So the first thing is we need to. We're gonna label graph one. So again, I'm gonna go over with you guys together. But if you didn't know how to do this, feel free to move forward. You don't have to wait for us. All right. I'm gonna use half a page for my first graph. So every graph we're gonna have a vertical axis and a horizontal axis, right? Vertical axis, horizontal axis. So make sure you do that. So the first thing is write a title for the graph. Look at the title of the data table for a suggestion. So you need to go down to table 1 for graph 1. Okay. You are going to write down a title. Everybody go in the chat box. Can you help me, everyone? What would be the title for this graph number 1 be? So in the chat box, let me know what would be the title for graph number 1.
Can't you just use the title that they give you and kind of reword it?
Yeah, and that's what they suggested, to look at the data table. I give my graph a title: oxygen production. Okay. So production. Some people might want to say overtime as well, but oxygen production is good. So I give it a title. Maybe I'll underline the title so people know. So the first thing when you create graph is give it a title. What is the second instruction? The second instruction is you're gonna label the horizontal x-axis, horizontal, and we call that independent variable. Remember independent variable, aka change, independent variable. And then label the vertical y-axis. We call that dependent variable. You gotta remember dependent variable? The outcome, right? The result. That'll be the dependent variable, okay? All right. So then they want you to label. So can somebody in the chat box, not the whole class, we'll let you know when the whole class needs to reply. Can somebody tell me what do I label in graph 1 for the horizontal axis? What do I label for the horizontal axis? Tyler Ho said time. You're right. So time is my independent variable. That's something that I change, right? So time, and it's not the outcome, right? Time. And if I look at my graph, there are how many different time? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 different time. So I'm gonna equally space it out. Don't put all 6 lines here, but I'm gonna divide a six line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. Okay. All right. And then the next thing is I'm gonna label whatever I see from the data table. Right. What time do they want me to label? 4 a.m. 8 a.m. 12 p.m. 4 p.m. 8 p.m. and 12 a.m. Okay. So that's what they want me to label. So go ahead. All right, Benjamin, just wait for me a second. Right. Right now we're labeling the graph first. Okay. And we'll talk about what graph.
Can I say that the horizontal line is like the horizon and vertical is up and down, in case that confuses you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Hallebeck. So horizontal line, Ms. Hallebeck said horizontal line is like horizon, right? Like left to right.
Left to right.
And then now we have to label the vertical line, right? Or the y-axis. And in this case, this is the dependent variable, the outcome. So what would be the name of this vertical? Can somebody in the chat box, just one person is good. We don't know class. We'll let you know when the whole class will reply. Oxygen produced. You're right, right? If this would be the outcome, right? The dependent variable. And we're gonna label oxygen produce. Don't forget the unit as well, okay, guys? Unit is BTU. Always include the unit, BTU. Okay? So right now, like Benjamin was asking, is it line graph or bar graph? Right now, we're labeling the graph first. Every graph you do, you have to label first. You don't just go in and start graphing, right? You need to label it. And then we're gonna highlight the horizontal line. One, we wanna see how many spacing do we have on the vertical axis. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9. Okay, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So go ahead, highlight your horizontal line on the y-axis. So that way you know how many you have. Okay, 9. All right. Okay. What is next? The next thing is, looking at this, the next thing is pick what you think is the best choice for a vertical axis scale. So we're gonna look at the vertical axis. Okay, looking at the vertical axis here. Okay. And we need to identify the scale, the spacing between every horizontal line. And they have to be consistent, right? Whatever you put here has to be the same as that. So do we put 1? Do we put 5? Do we put 10? Do we put 11 or 100, a million for each line? So that's the next question. If you guys still remember Gizmo, what do you look for? How do you know what number do you put here? Anybody? How do you know what number do we put here? Like, do I start with 5? Do I start with 0? So every number is gonna be 0. This is gonna be 0, and then this is gonna be 0, 0, 0, 0. I'm talking about like the scale here. What do I put here? Every space, every increment. What would be the increment, the space, or the scale? James, you say 1? Okay. 1. If I say 1, so we can just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. No, 1. How do I know? What if I put 1? Would that be enough? 5? Would that be enough? So how do you guys know? Can somebody tell me? How do you know if you're putting 5, or you're putting 1, or you're putting 10, 20? How do you know? And this is important because most students will struggle on this, not knowing how to space out the y-axis, the number that best fit the line. Okay? All right. How about this? How about you go and you look for the largest number in your oxygen produced in your y-axis or vertical axis, right? Look for the largest number. Okay, everybody in the group chat, everyone in the group chat, can you tell me what is the largest dependent variable or number in oxygen produced? Tell me what is the largest number. Okay, so in the group chat, what is the largest number in the oxygen produced? What's the largest value? 39.7. Everybody, make sure you answer that question because everybody, we need to make sure everybody's still there.
All right.
39.7. So you agree that it's 39.7? Yes, right here, right? So 39.7 is the largest. I'm just gonna round it up to make it simple for myself. So I'm just gonna say 40, right? 40. And this is the largest value, right? For y-axis, right? Vertical axis. Okay? Now, how do I know what to put here so that way I will have enough spacing to fill up all 40? Is I need to count how many available horizontal line do I have? How many spacing do I have? So if I count this, I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I will have 9. So what I do is I'm gonna take 40 and I'm divide by 9. And again, 9 is my available space on the y-axis. Okay. So everybody in the chat box, can you tell me what is your available space on the y-axis? How many do you guys have? I have 9, but I'm sure not all of you guys will have 9. So what do you have? Let me know in the chat box. So On have 10, Isaac have 12, Benjamin have 20, right? 12, right? 10. So go ahead, tell me how many line do you have? How many available horizontal line do you have on the y-axis? 11, okay? All right, 12. Again, so what I do now is I take the largest value from the y-axis, okay? And I'm gonna divide it by, the available space I have. And that will give me the increment, the spacing that I'm gonna use, the scale that I'm gonna use for this. So I'm gonna take 40 for me. I'll take 40 divided by 9 for me. Okay, so I'm gonna take 40 divided by 9, and that will give me 4.4. 4.4. I'm gonna estimate it. I'm gonna round it to the nearest number. Maybe 4.4. You can do 4 or you can do 5. I'm just gonna do 5. I'm gonna do 5. So that means every line I'm gonna have here will be 5. Let's start out with 5. So how about you guys? Let me see. How about James? You have 14. So that means you need to take 40 divided by 14 to give you the increment, the spacing. Lisa, you have 10. So I mean you gotta take 40 divided by 10. Benjamin, you have 20. So you gotta take 40 divided by 20. And that will give you the number. And make sure you round it up, okay? Make sure you round it up. 4.4, nearest whole number, you can go 4.4 or you can go 5. You can go 4 or you can go 5. I'm just gonna go 5. So if I say this is 5, that means this is going to be 10, maybe 5, be 15, 20. You guys see the scale are the same, right? Every space will be 5. Okay. So if your is 4, that means every space is gonna be 4. So keep in mind, 25, 30, 35, 40, I have 45. So it looks like I will have enough, right? Because my max is 40 and I can carry around 45. So this is good, right? So go ahead, set up your scale, right? So again, some of you might be like, but this takes so long. Well, remember, we're just learning the step by step, but once you get a hang of it, this should be easy for you, right? It's just learning at the beginning will take time. Okay. Ms. Hollaback, anything you wanna put in?
No, but I think that, am I mute? No.
No, you're good.
I always have to look. But I think that as you continue to do the graphs, that there's more and more of the data, so it makes more sense to put it on a small piece of paper the way you do it. So It's a good system. Thank you.
Samantha, so you did it. So 40 divided by 12 because you have 12 space and you have 3.3. You can round it up like to 4 or you can round it down to 3. It's up to you. But it should give you enough spacing to graph. All right. So anybody have any question regarding to labeling the graph? Okay, labeling the graph. All right. So after you label the graph, now you can graph. But my next question is, in the chat box, everybody answer this question, is this bar graph or line graph? Everybody tell me if it's bar graph or line graph. Okay. So Kiana said line graph, Nicholas said line. Okay. Bar, Benjamin said bar, line graph.
Line.
Okay. So everybody tell me if line graph, is this graph going to be line or bar graph?
Isn't a line is.
Okay. So majority I said line graph, and you are right. It is line graph because it involved with time, right? Remember we said anytime you see like time, like hour, day, year, second, it'll be line graph. So this will be a line graph. You're right. So now you're gonna graph, right? You are going to
1 to 2.
at 4 a.m. 14 BTU. So at 4 a.m. If you want to use a ruler to make it straight, at 4 a.m. it's 14 BTU. So 15, 20, 10 and 15 is here, 14 probably close to it. You put a dot around here. And it's an estimation, right? It's not gonna be the exact because we don't have graphing paper. Okay. At 8 a.m., 22.6. So 8 a.m. will be 22.6. So 8 a.m. at 22.6. So I'm gonna have 20, 25, somewhere between there. I'm gonna put a dot here. And since it's a line graph, so I'm gonna connect the line. Dot. Okay. All right. And then moving on to the next one is 12 p.m. 12 p.m. is 39.7. That's the max value, right? 12 p.m. 39.